Your spouse is a key success factor in your life. And therefore, you have a responsibility to ensure that you check the guy out for the right reasons. What are the good things you should consider? A man who fears the Lord. Why is it important that a man who fears the Lord? It's not that a man will not be tempted. It's that a man that fears God will not do some things because of God. Joseph did not sleep with Potiphar's wife, not because he didn't find her attractive or because of Potiphar. Remember what he said, I will not commit this sin against who? Against the God of the heavens. Men are tested every day. You are tested every day. If you think because you're a married woman, if you are married, men will not chase you or ask us now. Some men are badly behaved. The more married you are, the more powerful you are, the more attractive you are to them, because they want to be able to tell their friends, I conquered that powerful woman. So it's a game to them. But what will keep your husband in check? The fear of God. So a man who fears the Lord, not a man who goes to church. Don't mix them up. Many people go to church that don't fear God. So it's your responsibility to explore, to try and determine that he fears God. A man who is disciplined and responsible. It is his discipline as a person that will keep him away from certain trials and temptations. A man who is responsible. I didn't say a man who is rich. I said a man who is responsible. What does that mean? The man who is responsible will put the best of what he has on the table. He would be available to support, to nurture, and to build his household. Now, it's possible that a woman, by the nature of the work she does, will earn more than her husband. If a good career man in high position in an FMCG company, like a Cadbury, a Nestle, and all of that, and the girl happens to be working in Shell or Chevron or something, by the nature of their industry, their pay is already different. They can be peers in level. In fact, the guy might have a higher position in his FMCG company and the girl a lower position, but her pay might be more than his. So we're not talking about money. So in this case, if the man is responsible and he puts the best of what he has on the table, even you as a woman will understand that you are a team. There's a reason the Bible says 1 + 1 is 1. It's because the two is one. It doesn't matter from which end the Lord puts the money on your table. He puts it on the table of your union, and you will use it for the welfare of your household. So you must also know that the man has the capacity to encompass and to cope with the fact that you will earn more. Determine his state of heart, and in trying to do that, check his family setting. Understand, my mother was always home at 3:30. He needs to go and marry a teacher who has no job, because even teachers don't get home at 3:30 now. Do you understand what I'm saying? And after they finish, they'll go and do lesson because they want to make money. So there are real considerations you must check. The character of the man, the nature of the man, his values, the things that are important to him, his ability to stand with you in your days of trial, his comfort level with your ambition. Now, do not be one of those women that in order to marry a guy, you play yourself down. If you play down and the man doesn't catch up, it's not his fault. Because what you presented to him is you down. If you now marry and you come up, it's a different scenario. So you were fake. You deceived him. It's on you. But be all of yourself. Be comfortable with yourself. Let the man who sees all of you be comfortable with who you are and know that he has capacity to cope with that. Now, come to the ones that you guys get more fascinated by. The boy loves girl, girl loves boy. That one you control. You have a choice. That's the place where everything that you are comes into play. And this is a more consequential relationship in your life at a stage of your life. So now you're a big girl, whatever, 20, 21, 20, whatever, and now you think, boyfriend, girlfriend, and all of that. Now even say from teenage. But ask yourself, what do you want out of it? How does it work for you? The question I always ask young women is, first and foremost, don't seek that relationship until you have a sense of who you are. I understand what I mean by that. If you don't know who you are, how do you know who is the right person for you? You need to invest some time in figuring, who am I? Where am I going to? What do I consider important to me? What are the values with which I want to live my life? What kind of a man do I want in my life? Do I just want a man? What role is this man going to play? Where am I going? What man fits where I'm going? Husbands, and there are men available, but there's a right man and a right husband for you. So when you get into the place of love and building relationships that you know will impact your life, the most dangerous relationship you have is that one. Why? Because it affects your emotions and everything. Your intellect is betrayed by it. Because you see, the most intelligent, rational woman becomes unreasonable and irrational when it comes to a love relationship. So if you allow yourself some time to evolve, to understand who you are, to understand where you want to go, to have a sense of what your goals are. When a guy is talking to you, he can be rich and handsome. That's his problem. Why? You can be rich too. Remember? Don't ever forget that. Oh, he has money, you can have money too. And it doesn't matter how rich he is, or how handsome he is, or how career conscious he is. If he's the wrong person for you, it will destroy everything that you are. What you think he has will not bring you joy. It will not bring you satisfaction. And there's one place in your life you're allowed to be selfish. It's in matters of love and relationship. You must first sort yourself out, so that when you are checking option A, option B, you can decide, this one, let me give you some. So I'll tell you the story of this friend of mine. Smart, brilliant, ambitious, driven, and all of that, career driven. She was in her career and all of that, and she done well. And by this time she was like 44. She wasn't married yet. And you know what? She decided she wanted to buy a property. She could afford it. So she bought this big property in Lekki. And everybody said, how can you do that? You're not married yet. You'll never marry. Blah, 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 blah. She didn't care. She could afford it. She wanted it. She bought it. And she moved into the house and lived in it. Not that she bought it as investment. She bought it to live in. So when they told her she will not marry, guess what happened? She married the guy with the bigger house that lived across the road. She would never have met him except she moved into that house. And she met him. His wife died in a plane crash. And they met and things happened. You know what? Be true to yourself. Present the best of yourself. Let the husband that is made for you, let the love that will support you, that will encourage you, that will nurture you, that will allow you the freedom of expression of the gifts of God in your life, let that be the love that you invest in. Don't ever feel compelled to sell yourself short or to just settle because you think everybody thinks it's time. There's a time. All the time belongs to God. And nothing works better than if you marry at 25 and you are divorced at 30, what have you gained? If you marry at 40 and you live till 80 and you're happily married, you have gained everything. So in love and relationships is about you making the right choices. It's about you understanding what is the will of God and the purpose of God. The gifts of God in your life, they are of God. They were meant to be used, not to be hidden. If God felt they would harm you in getting married, He won't give them to you. So it's like trying to cap me in a bottle. Is that possible? But I had to marry the guy who grew with every growth of my life. Every day I'm grateful for the difference my husband makes in my life, because he has the capacity to allow me to be free. I don't feel I have to pretend to be anything. And that has allowed me to serve the Lord and to bless humanity with the gifts of God in my life. Your love and your relationships are critical to everything you will do. In business, the way you nurture them. At home, it will determine everything else, and it can destroy or make everything else possible. May the Lord help us.